Hey guys, Matt with Ready Man Preps here. I just wanted to take a few minutes and walk you through the mentality behind my get home bag. I designed it a little differently than a lot of people do, and I have a few ideas that I wanted to share with you guys before unveiling the bag itself, which will be the next video I post hopefully. So sit back and enjoy the video. When I got to thinking about my get home bag, I looked at a lot of videos, I read a lot of books, I combed the internet for Pinterest ideas or blogs that kind of worked along the survival prepper mentality, and just kind of honed in on what I really wanted this bag to do. So when it came down to it, there were three things that I thought that I needed this bag to do. First and foremost, the ultimate goal of this bag was to get me from point A, wherever I happen to be during the day, to my house so I could get with my family before we made any decisions on whether we were bugging out or staying at home. Regardless of what the situation called for, that was the main goal. Number two, I needed it to be mobile. So when I was considering what to put in it or what to pack it with and in, I took into consideration that I wanted to be a mobile person. I didn't want to have a huge pack to deal with. So third, I wanted it to have just the essentials. I don't require a whole lot in the way of wilderness survival or bushcraft. So I really wanted to hone in on my specific situation and try to limit myself away from the things that everybody else used for traveling through the woods or across the plains or whatever their situation was. I wanted it to be very specific and have the essentials for just my situation. So first thing was first, A to B. How do I get from point A to my house? Where do I go on a regular basis? I kind of sat down and I did a little bit of an analysis and put pins on a map and said that this is where I go on a regular basis. Grocery store, church, work, friends' houses that I frequent. Whatever I found myself doing over the course of about a month, I checked this out. I would put a little dot on the map where that was at. Then I took another pin, did the little circle with the string, and I found out, as far as a crow flies, I very rarely travel outside 6 to 8 miles from my house. That is about the radius of everything I do over the course of a month. Now, there were some one-offs, camping, hunting, fishing, all of that was outside that 6 to 8 mile radius. But it gave me a starting point for where the pack was going to take me. The one-offs, if I was going fishing, or I'm going hunting, or I'm going camping, I'm going to have a little extra gear. I'm going to have a little extra food so I can use whatever I take with me to get myself home. That being said, I packed for the average things. All of that told me that that's the places that I frequent were how long I needed this pack to last. So, giving an average of how long it would take me to walk, how long it might take me to drive it, etc., I broke down and found out that I really needed this pack to last me, at most, in a really bad situation, 72 hours. Now, I'm not picking that number because that's what a lot of people say you need to survive to get yourself set up in the wilderness. Not what this bag is designed to do. 72 hours was how long I thought it would take me to travel from point A to home to get myself out of whatever situation. So the second thing I considered was making it mobile and making it light. I fell victim to one of the early blunders of most people who get into preparing and working out for emergencies, in that I bought the bag first. Of course, I didn't buy super expensive bags first. I started off with Walmart bags, upgraded to military surplus, moved on to the tactical lines, that sort of thing, and finally I discovered VanQuest. VanQuest is one of those companies that I will probably mention throughout my gear, because a lot of what they make is very organizationally driven, and I love compartmentalizing things. So when it comes down to putting my kits together, you've seen what I've talked about modules. Um, Kind of a phrase I stole from a couple other people off of YouTube that I've watched, but it really works out and it really fits my personality in ways that I get things together and I do my prepping. So I looked at the VanQuest line. I started off with the Trident 20 and loved the pack. The only problem I found out with the Trident 20 was just a tad too small for what I wanted. And so I would look at everything that I put in it, and I'd have these little one-offs that I'd have laying out there. I'm like, I really need that. It's an essential thing that I need. Or how do I fit my water bottle in here? Or the water bladder doesn't, it makes too much, it takes up too much room and I can't put things in there. It was just a great pack, but it wasn't the one I needed. So I worked with it for about 8 months, 9 months, and that's what I was running for my get home bag. It was actually my EDC bag too. So I was doing both at the same time, and then they brought out the Falconer 27. Great bag. It's what I am using now. And for a get home bag, it is an amazing bag for organization. It has a lot of space. It's not too big. And it has a lot of the essential things that you would want in a bag that you're going to have to carry any distance. That was the second thing, was mobility. I looked at a lot of bigger packs and I decided that the 27 liters was about as big as I really needed to get the essentials, which was my third thing. I wanted it to have the essentials for my environment, for what I would run across on a regular basis. I don't live in the desert, so I don't need desert materials. I don't live in the mountains, so I don't need mountain materials. I live in a predominantly urban environment. All of the routes that I would take to and from home to anywhere, or from anywhere to home, are mainly urban streets, residential neighborhoods, that sort of thing. So when I say essentials, there are a few things in there that most people will not have. And then there's some things in there that most people will have gone, well, why didn't you put that in there? It's my situation. So looking at an urban environment with very few wilderness situations between where I'm going to be and home, I really wanted this bag to have just those things in it. All that to say, the three main essential areas that I wanted to have in this bag were my food and water, my protection and shelter, and also communications. So along those three lines, I wanted to have enough food and water to go for 72 hours. Do I expect to have to be doing a lot of exerting myself or really pushing my body to its limits over the course of that 72 hours? Probably not. But I want to have enough calories in the bag that will sustain me through that 72 hours to get home. Doesn't necessarily have to be fun calories, but it needs to be calories because that's what drives the engine. Also want to start with enough water to get me going, but again, urban environment. I can probably find water somewhere along the way if I need to, but I want to have enough in the bag that I can use it to get me home. Second, protection and shelter. That can mean a lot of things to a lot of different people, but for me, right now, it is primarily making sure that I have the covering and the essential parts that I would need to be able to shelter in place should I have to spend the night between where I'm at and home. Just in case things are that bad and I need to evade people, I wanted to have that kind of thing too. I want to have some form of protection as well, so a good knife, even a large stick, or anything like that could also be used to supplement in that area. But again, ultimately, I don't want to get into a situation where I'm forced to protect myself while getting home with this bag. So, after protection and shelter, I wanted to look at communication. The situations that I think are going to be more common for me, I wanted to be able to communicate with the people either driving down the road or coming up alongside me, behind me, whatever, and be able to let them know that I was there. But also, I wanted to have a backup communication device to be able to talk to my family at home just in case cell towers were overloaded or whatever, depending on whatever situation was coming up. So those were the three areas that I considered most essential to put into this bag. There are a couple of other ones that I've got in there that are more along the lines of a bug out bag or your survival kits, but those were the things that I really thought of as essentials. So next video up will be my get home bag itself. I've got the first aid module that I may throw in there at the same time. I haven't really decided, but I've got those both on the editing table right now. So stay tuned and check those out. If you haven't already, please like the video if you found something useful. Click subscribe if you haven't already and help support the channel that way. Check us out on all of our social media. We've got Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, Pinterest, a lot of ideas out there that we're doing. And our new blog is in the works. I will let you guys know when that launches, of course. So again, my name is Matt with Ready Man Preps, and if you're never ready, you're never prepared.